All right. Well, we are here to talk about X-Men 97, guys. Season
Yes.
2.
Yes.
So you guys know I love your work. I get so excited whenever I see your name attached to anything.
Oh, thank you, Tess.
Thank
Well,
you.
I'm always like, this is gonna have a great score. I don't even have to worry about this. They know what they're doing. But for season 2, something that I loved about this, and it must have been so fun for you guys to play with, is you're jumping through so many different times. So,
Yeah.
like, how fun was it for you guys to play with like the future and the past and the present?
It
It
was
was
a it
Go
was
ahead.
a ton of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it was kind of about like also figuring out with that at first we were like, "Oh, are we changing the sound?" But then we started to recognize like, no, we're not changing the sound. We're still going to be X-Men 97. We just need to have flavors of things as we're moving from Egypt to the present to the future and every place in between to the it's wherever we are with any character at any given time. It was like, oh, now we need fiddle and harmonica for what's happening with Gambit right now. Like it's just kind of like a fun ride of sort of following the characters and the story and the animation and having fun with it.
Yeah, Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw the early animatics and it was, unfinished, and then when we saw the finished animatics of like the future in Egypt, it was so beautiful with what they did, and it really we had a bunch of some kind of weird futuristic sounds that we made, and it was just really nice that it sort of ended up working with the animation. So we were lucky that we didn't have to change too much, but it was fun to jump. I love the future and then of course the past. That was my favorite.
Yeah, you just get to really play with it. And I mean, this show is so fun. I can't imagine like working on this and you guys get to see things before we even know they're coming, which is I'm so jealous. Um, but is there something that like maybe someone would be surprised to know you used for a sound for either the future or the past, like a non-traditional instrument?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Great question.
I
Uh,
mean, this isn't terribly exciting, but it is interesting because I have owned a 12-string guitar since 1987 and have never used it in any of the shows or films that we've done. And it is in this season for Rogue, specifically in today's episode, actually. Um, and it just gives a thing. It's just like it has, a 12-string guitar is very specific, which is why it hasn't really landed in anything we've done. But it worked really well this season in a few places for Rogue for some very specific plot points that are occurring today, actually. So it's that's kind of fun.
we took a lot of handheld instruments, like a lot of woodwinds, and certain things that we pitched down to. It's like it sounds like it's very old or from a time, but it's also slightly off or weird. We did stuff like that, which was we can't do that with the present day X-Men stuff as much. So it was really great. But you'll still hear like a random like early '90s synth like in ancient Egypt at a moment of like something because it's still X-Men '97, but that's the fun. It's not even work at this point.
I'm sure. I mean, listen, technically they are from the present, so like you can totally put stuff from there with them. It's not like it works. It works. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about like you guys have mentioned it a little bit here, but making sure it really stays X-Men 97 when you do the future and the past, because easily it could have gone not feeling like the same show. You know what I mean? If you went too much. So you
Yeah.
talk about the importance of weaving that in there to just make it cohesive.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's a lot of time that we spend on the production after we write each cue. So I know for myself, I will often get stuck too far on one side. Like sometimes, like there was a scene this season where we were in the future, and so I had all the synths going, and the track was all synths, and it was cool. But I was like, oh, we still need to be X-Men 97, which means we need something in here that's like, orchestral or a choral or something that kind of like to balance it out a little bit. And on the reverse, there are times when like I'm not sure what the sound of the scene is going to be just yet, so I'll quickly mock it up with just some like orchestral samples just to get it going. And and to figure out what it is, and then sort of back into like, okay, let's replace the basses with the, with the Moog, and replace the whatever. Like, just start like weaving in the production process of it, and it can get like, we can get real. I mean, Taylor and I joke about it takes triple the time on this show, because it's like we're writing the cue and then producing the cue, but then in producing the cue, it usually leads to changing of the writing of the cue, if that makes sense. Because just because of the nature of like what's happening.
And this season added an extra element of chaos, because when we went to go record it, we had to, the choir, like in Vienna, they had to sing in Rush. Had to speak Russian. They had to do sort of like some old dialect of ancient Egypt, and they were trying to pronounce things, and there was Latin. And so we were just going through, and there was some made up sort of sounds and stuff. It was they went through the ringer.
Yeah, they did a great job. Yeah, they pulled it off big time. It was great.
Worth it in the end, of course.
Yeah.
How often do you guys go back to the original series? Or I'm sure you did a lot, especially at the beginning with season 1. But like, how often do you go back to that, or do you kind of feel like you know this sound now?
Yeah, I think in season 1, it was a big note to be more 90s and slowly arc it to a little bit more modern. And that was sort of the notes. And so we keep, I think, flavors of the original show. We use a lot of the old synthesizers which I don't want to get super geeky, but we use a lot of those old synthesizers currently in every episode. And that is sort of the sprinkling of that sound is from the original animated series. And I think if we take that all out and we just kept more modern synths and the orchestra, the show would lose that sort of that sound. But we definitely reference even some of the style, the arrangements of certain things in the early 90s episodes. And it was great. And he did such a great job with that early show. I mean, as a kid growing up, I was so excited every time I heard that theme song, Saturday mornings. And so, we want to do him great respect.
Yeah, and on that note, they told us in season 1, this was a really good note that everyone on the team told us when we came on board. They're like, hey, so when you're going back and revisiting season 1, keep in mind, like, before you start rewatching it, how you think you thought it sounded and looked and everything, and then how it did, but then also carry with you that feeling of like, regardless, because there's a lot of time has elapsed, so it has a different sound. We still want that sound, and we also want sort of the feeling that sound sort of gave you, which I think was what was so genius about what Ron did with the music for the original, because it just really like captured like the show, and I think that was sort of like a really good note from everyone to give to us, because it is true. Like, I think we always think of the nostalgia of things in a certain way, but we need to carry with that like what it actually is, and how we can carry what we took from that into the future, so to speak, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, everyone knows that. Like, and then you can just go on and on and on. And
yeah,
but it's like, yeah, what do you remember, and what actually was it? And then how do you continue that on? No, that's a perfect note. That makes perfect sense. What would you guys say was your biggest challenge this season? There's a lot going on. I mean, Apocalypse alone, like, that's he's pretty cool, and you guys got to create a theme for him. What was it like creating that for him? And then what would you say was your biggest challenge?
I can't speak for Andy, but for me, Rogue and Gambit were probably the biggest challenge, because the perspective of him being, again, like a dark guy, and he's, who he is and who we discover in the end, who he actually is. And, the perspective we took was more of like, he's doing the right thing for him, and what he values is right. And even, Apocalypse, if you see where he came from, and he was a hero, and where he becomes, it's like, you can't really fault that sort of, it's the villain that you hate to love and love to hate kind of thing. And I think those finding ways to weave that also and show the connection between Gambit and Rogue, and how that balance, that was probably the trickiest as certain episodes progress. But that was fun.
Yeah, and I think on my side, it was probably Nathan's Destiny arc. It wasn't so tricky in the scoring of the episodes. Once we had that dialed, it worked. It worked very nicely. But it was about creating that because it's such a big part of the season, and we really wanted to land that sort of feeling of like the innocence, the journey ahead, the desolation, the death, the sorrow that comes with all of these things, and then to sort of land it at the end. And that was, I mean, that one piece of music was many weeks of sort of like not only in the writing but then in the production and getting it all just right. So that was a lot of work. But it's these things are all very important, and we take it all very seriously. So we love spending the time on it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys nail it. I'm telling you, like I said, literally everything you do. I'm always so excited when I see your name attached to something. I'm like, yes, we're gonna have a great score. Like,
Thanks, Tessa. Oh, thank you.
It's true. It's true. You guys know how much I love you guys and your work. It's so good. And speaking of Rogue and Gambit, they're my babies. I have them tattooed on my back, so I love them.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know. So I've been through it with the show. I have been through it, but I'm okay.
Yeah, they really have. They've been through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Like, how exciting is it for you guys to get these scripts and just be like,
Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah. Yeah, we're so lucky. We always we'll text each other like, did you read this? Did you watch the animatic? Like, no, not yet. Don't tell me anything. Like, we'll have to because it's like we can't talk to anybody. It's just the two. Thank God there's two of us. So we have like a person that we can speak with after we watch or read.
Especially when it's slightly controversial and you're like, how is everyone going to respond to this? Someone dies or something. You're like, oh, what's going to happen?
Yeah, at least you have each other. Like you said,
That's
Andy,
right.
At least there's two of you. If it
At
was
least
one of
there's
you,
two of us.
what would
Yeah.
you be doing? You'd be going
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yelling into the abyss.
Yeah.
Well, that's big time. But thank you guys so much. It's always a joy to talk to you. And congratulations on everything. And I can't wait to see what you just keep doing.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Tessa. We appreciate it. It's so great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Tessa.
Bye-bye.